Hey, welcome to Drawing with davvworlds. I'm davvworlds. My hot chocolate is far too hot for me. Anyway, so I'm just gonna be drawing heads and talking, and hopefully it's useful. I have not planned anything, but I wanted to make a video, and that is all. You might just be watching me struggle a bit, as I've been struggling lately to draw the things I've drawn a million times, and I don't know why. I know that happens to artists. I was doing some quick drawing challenges the other day, like set a timer for 2 minutes and then draw, without planning. And I found I was drawing just random stuff, and I thought, oh, the easiest thing for me to do would be to draw, anime characters, because that's what I draw, right? That makes sense. So I tried to draw a character I've drawn plenty of times, and I just couldn't do it that quick. It was the worst stuff I was doing was the anime stuff, and like the female characters I was trying to draw just looked so bad, and it just kind of bothered me that the thing I've been trying to draw, the most in my life is still the hardest thing for me to draw. And that's kind of a thing I've noticed with anime drawings, is a lot of people a lot of people give it grief, and artists will talk poorly about anime style art and everything, but as far as I'm concerned, it's like, I love the style they do so much that I'm just trying to copy it, at least to the extent of where I can draw things that I think look just as good as what they do. And lately it's been like, I felt like I haven't improved at all in many years of trying to draw like this. And a lot of people draw in their own like unique styles, and when I say unique styles, I mean like, you just kind of like draw a character kind of however you want, just knowing more or less kind of what goes into shaping a face, or the whole body. Like like this guy. It's really easy to draw because I'm making him up, you know. He doesn't have to look like any specific style. You know, I can give him any features I really want. But with this style, I have to, you know, pay close attention, and I make things kind of the way they're already supposed to be, and I don't know if maybe it's just the challenge of having to do it a certain way where you kind of have your guidelines and then you try to put your own spin on it, which I know a lot of art teachers will do, is they'll give you like a bunch of strict guidelines just to try to help kind of breed creativity. And I know that's different than this. But I don't know. Maybe that's what draws me to it. The challenge, you know. But I mean, I see these illustrations that I look at on Pixiv all the time, and they're my favorite things to look at. Favorite things at which to look. And I've noticed that, you know, if you're going to do, at least in my experience, trying to do the anime style, it takes so much time and effort just to do this style of drawing that I feel like just to keep up with this and make these drawings look as good as I want them to, I feel like, you know, with my job and everything, I don't have time to practice backgrounds and stuff because my backgrounds need a lot of work. I'll probably never get work as an artist until I can do, you know, a complete picture with background and everything. They don't care. Actually, I sent my stuff into some board game company that does like anime themed board games, but they're a Western company, so you know, if they're willing to hire Americans or Westerners, and they liked my stuff enough to kind of ask for more, and I sent it to them, and they're like, "Oh, we like that, but you know, we need more. We need a background or, you know, more complete picture." And I think it's just kind of, I'm still sitting here spending so much time just trying to, you know, make sure I'm getting the style look as good as I want. And I'll see different anime style drawings on Pixie, and I'll think, oh, that looks so good, like I want to know how to do that. That's like an aspect of their eyelashes or something I want to put in my drawings. I'll spend who knows how long just trying to figure out what they're even doing, because it doesn't make sense. That's the hardest thing about anime style art, is that it doesn't make sense if you were to look at it from a analytical point of view and think like, okay, well, Disney art will look a certain way because this and that and that and this makes things look a certain way. You're like, oh, well, because that looks good. And then you think anime style, like, well, how did they decide to shade things a certain way? Because it's just nonsense. It doesn't follow the rules of lighting as far as I'm concerned. And I think that's just kind of where creativity comes into play, when you realize that if you're going to be doing non-realistic style art, you kind of need to be more creative. You need to be able to just make stuff up and think outside the realms of normal thought patterns. Like, you can't be trying to analyze everything. You have to just have a feel for making things interesting. I certainly do not have a feel, like there will be a character and she's hanging out and she's facing sideways and her hair will come down, and for a long time I would draw it and I would have the hair come down like this, trying to just have it fall, thinking like, yeah, hair falls, but then I realized that what they'll do is they'll have the hair fall on the shoulders, so it comes down in front of the shoulders, curves back up like it's falling over the shoulders, and you think, okay, well, that makes sense. And it took me forever, because in anime you don't draw hair strands, like a bunch of hair strands, at least not in the ones that I prefer, so I kind of bunch it together in just like a shape. And then for strands, they just have like a gap like this that indicates the hair. This part of the hair is separated from this part of the hair because it's falling a little bit more. I like a line here. It's all just about indicating, which is kind of very traditional style of cartoons, is just indicating things and not drawing it outright. But I don't know, for some reason a lot of the stuff like this, it just took me so long to realize like all these tiny little techniques that they do, and there's like a million of them. That make up the entire picture. May have deleted everything I drew. Ooh, there we go. And that's why, especially in Japan, they have like actual manga drawing schools where you don't go to school to become like your own unique creative artist like we teach in Western cultures, or just in different areas of interest, I guess, as far as art is concerned. But they do these classes where the teacher goes up and he or she draws a very traditional looking manga face, and then the students copy that, and I mean, it helps a lot for them, especially going into, if they want to go into the anime industry and do animation. Everyone needs to kind of be able to draw in the same style so that the characters look the same in each scene. And I'm certainly not docking it at all. I just think it's awesome. How good they are, how good they've become, especially nowadays, at making these characters that are just so particularly designed just to be, as attractive as characters can be. And if you think it's weird that I say attractive, then I'm not talking about like just how they do, sexy anime girls and all that. It's more like, Disney has put a lot of thought and effort as well into what makes characters attractive. Like look at Frozen. Honestly, everything about that movie is just so perfectly designed, in my opinion, that it just looks, everything is just beautiful. The characters, Anna and Elsa, are just so wonderfully designed, and everything is just so well done, and I just look at that and just in awe, especially if I watch Disney movies like Zootopia, and the little rabbit character, I can't remember her name right now. Judy Hopps. She just looks so cute. And the artists would, I'm sure they have their techniques down that they kind of teach other artists that come to work for Disney what they do to characters, and they all look Disney-esque and everything, but they still probably spent plenty of time to figure out how to make this female rabbit character look so cute, and then how to make, I think his name's Nick, the fox character, Jason Bateman's character. They made him just look so perfectly cool and sly, like making a fox head that's like the shapes, the long snout and like this with the ears and everything, and you think like, how do you make a humanoid fox head look, so cool and perfectly done? It's just incredible. Maybe I'm just crazy and no one else thinks like this, but I do believe that people who are artists, people who draw and paint and everything, you kind of tend to just notice all the intricate details of things instead of just looking at them and thinking, oh, that's cool, and moving on. There was a School of Life YouTube video that talked about how artists will, like why everyone should draw, and it's basically a normal person is walking along and sees a sunset and thinks like, oh, that's pretty, but an artist will like notice all these small details of what actually makes it look so good. And I do the same thing when I'm looking at a sunset. I'm not just kind of staring off into space, I'm looking at the clouds and the like super sharp glow that'll show up behind the clouds from the setting sun, and the contrast between the parts of the clouds that are right in the sun and everything. And I think like, okay, I gotta be able to capture that and draw that. But I can't. That's that story. I'm terrible at. I'm really bad at digital landscaping. You know, I mean, if you're watching and you think my characters are rubbish, you know, I won't hold it against you. That's fine. There are plenty of artists that are way better than I am at every single aspect. However, I don't know if anyone's worse than me at landscapes. And I'm certain that it's just because I'm a beginner at them, you know, I don't know how to pace it and take the time, and you know, that's a big problem I've always had actually with art is I just get so impatient, like, okay, I need to finish this so I can, you know, show everyone on the internet how amazing I am. And you know, and then I post it, and then a few weeks later you look and you're like, oh, that's so bad. Like, why did I even post that? What was I thinking? I've heard other artists talk about that too, where it's kind of an issue. We have this need to post everything we've ever done on the internet, you know, just seeking approval. And I'm finally getting to the point where I don't post everything, you know, but I still feel like I'm missing out. Like, oh, what if that was the one thing that everyone loved and I got really popular and you know, had a career in drawing from then on, and Psychra would invite me onto one of his streams as a guest artist or something, and I would win. But that's not how it works. That's definitely not how it works. You know, you really have to make sure, because there's always going to be people who think your work is, you know, decent at least, and that's mostly just a situation where, you know, artists of different skill levels, you know, think certain art is good and other art not so good, and it's just kind of, you know, something I struggle with. I'll try to ask people, like, what do you think of this drawing? You know, but they're not artists at all. Like, they don't draw. They have no idea. Like, you know, back to the clouds thing. Like, they don't look at it the same as I do. And they'll be like, "Oh, that's really good," and I'll be like, "No, you're wrong. You don't draw. You don't understand." You know, which is stupid. I mean, I shouldn't show them. I shouldn't discredit their opinion. You know, because at the end of the day, your goal is to, well, and like in my case, my goal is to satisfy like everyone. I want everyone to think that the things that I draw are just really, really fun to look at. You know, but I can't help it because all I see is flaws in my art, and I just know, like, if, you know, if I had a professional do like a critique of my work, I know for a fact that they would just find problems. You know, they might be like, well, some of these things are okay and that's cool and all, but you know, you gotta work on this, this, and this. And you know, I don't know any artists in real life, so I can't really ask anyone. You know, I have one friend who draws, you know, and we try to help each other, but like, you know, unless one of the two artists is just like the best ever, you know, it's kind of hard to, you know, really trust their opinion, you know, unless they say, well, no, I don't know, can't really say much that would convince me. I don't really like doing sort of disclaimers where constantly throughout videos You know what I'm saying? Like, well, for those of you who don't know, blah, blah, blah. But in this case, this is such a huge tip, is you'll see it a lot in YouTube videos, and if you don't know this yet, like, you have to start doing this. You flip your image. You know, if you're drawing traditionally, one thing I'll do is I'll like try to hold my phone to take a picture of it as, you know, straight on as possible, and then when you go back and you look at the picture, all of a sudden, you know, something like this, if I think it looks decent, is just like way off. You don't even know what that is. You're like, holy moly, like, how are all these mistakes there? But also you can look at it in the mirror, hold it up to the mirror, but you have to really look. You know, if you don't notice things right away, then just keep looking. Don't just think, oh, it's good. You know, because even the best artists, they find problems with their work. You know, things that they think they could have done better. And technically it is all opinion. You know, who knows what really makes something better, other than, you know, if you're going for accuracy and anatomy and everything, that's a lot easier to determine. But you know, like, just in flipping this here, I noticed that her neck and head, like, I think overall it looks fine, but her neck and head, her neck really would end like here, you know, like that, and her shoulders just look kind of low. And I noticed I'll do that when I have a head and the neck, and when I it's like subconsciously I know I'm going to put a scarf in, so I like leave all this extra space and I fill it with the scarf, you know. But really the neck, this whole thing where it really connects, is down here, and it's just way too long. You know, unless I'm doing some sort of character that would have a long neck, like this guy. I don't know why I'm still drawing this, I apologize. Promise I'll stop soon. I think it's the same kind of thing, you know. I'm still drawing this because it's not an anime character. It doesn't have like a standard that it has to look, you know, so cool. You know, and I don't like to admit that anime is that way because it's my favorite style of art overall. I don't know why, you know, it just looks the best to me, but I get upset when artists kind of dock the style, you know. Like, cynics will go on about how he doesn't like anime style, at least in Sakura videos. That's how it seems to be. Could just be Sakura kind of exaggerating it to make fun of him, but I don't know. I certainly get the feeling that he's not a fan of the anime style. Which is, you know, if you don't like it, that's fine. There are plenty of art styles I really don't like, but you can't argue that it's any less than any other style. You know, I mean, that's what style is it's just kind of like different versions of stuff. none of it's realistic, so you can't argue that it's bad or anything. Especially with anime style, you can certainly tell, beginners it's interesting to see beginners drawing anime because they all kind of have the same early style and the way they do, like especially the faces, they all kind of look the same as far as the style they do when they're just starting out, and mine were no exception. I think the key is learning to look at look at your drawings at every point. If you're going for anime style, you gotta kind of look and really focus on like what about it is not as good as your favorite artist that does the anime style. I mean, that's super important as far as I'm concerned. I do that every single day, every morning, all morning with my my wife and I sitting on the couch. Get up at 5 every morning, and we sit on our phones because we don't want to communicate or anything. And I'll just sit there and look at anime drawings and just keep up on my favorite artists on Pixiv and the stuff they're doing, and once I'm caught up on everything that's new since yesterday morning, then I go to DeviantArt. I tend to browse pretty quickly on DeviantArt. There's not much that really catches my eye these days. I don't know if it's just because there's so much different stuff that it's just kind of too hard to really have the time to sit there and I'm watching so many different artists on there. I certainly don't have the time to go through and check my whole watch feed. I try to check it periodically, and but it's just difficult. But anyway, that's not important. Not what I want to talk about. Another thing that I don't like is that a lot of these artists say on Pixiv, and I think like that's so amazing. I want to know how they did that. They're not really on YouTube or anything, and there are plenty of good artists on YouTube, but I feel as though I found them all and watched other videos already. Actually, the only reason I am even making this video right now is because I ran out of videos to watch, so I didn't have any more excuses. I was gonna do like three heads in different styles. Try to do like an anime style, more of an American comic style, and then more of like a maybe Disney style or something. I didn't really plan it, and then I started recording and realized I can really only do females in anime style, and I can really only do males in American comic style, and I can also only do males in like more of a Disney, not necessarily Disney, but just kind of in the sense of you you simply get to have fun with proportion and making characters just look, super interesting, just like this, just kind of having fun. Make this guy, he just looks like a big dude already. And it's really fun to draw this kind of stuff because that was so much easier for me. And I never draw this, compared to how often I draw, um, anime style. But yeah, I'll leave him up just for fun. Give him a little eyebrow action, a little bit of stubble here. I think drawing these kind of drawings like this guy, it's just so fun, and especially if you're gonna like show people who don't really draw, it's fun to do these because they're impressed either way because they can't do it, and of course you shouldn't just try to impress people. My number one goal is to impress myself. That's all I really care about. In the end, I don't care what anyone thinks. If I don't like it, then I don't care. But my goal is to have a career in art in my life, and you have to kind of be able to impress people to do that. But these kind of drawings, just kind of cartoony, but you still have an understanding of anatomy in general. I mean, this is lower than it should be, and this is obviously huge and all that, but it still looks fun to me. Draw a big guy. But I feel like in anime they focus a lot on like just what they find attractive. But I think it's great. I think it's like, that's their style, and you get to watch things like that, and get your fix of that, and then you go and watch like a French animation movie like The Illusionist or something. Get a good fix of that style, because that style is, the way they draw people is sometimes crazy, and it just looks so good, and it all just fits. It's like that universe looks like that anime universe looks like, what it does. And it's just, I think it's fun that there's so many different kind of specific styles that people try to continually mimic. I think if everything was different, you'd kind of get upset because you're like, oh, I really like that style. But that was the only, movie made in that style. Now they're going to do something different. That's the only TV show made in that style. I think that'd be upsetting. How much time we got here? Oh. Well, I doubt anyone is still watching this because I'm not near popular enough on YouTube yet to have such lengthy videos where I'm just talking and drawing random stuff. I'm certainly not Peter Draws, who's also amazing. I'll probably mention a lot of amazing artists that I've been inspired by on YouTube over the years, and you might get sick of it, and I apologize. But like Sakura will talk about like Kim Jong-il, and is that his name? I don't know. I think that's his name. Korean guy. And he'll talk about like Joe Mad. And I love it. I actually love hearing hearing the artists that artists look up to. I think it's great, you know, to know that like an artist that I think so great, like Psychra, you know, thinks that he pales in comparison to, you know, these other artists. And I just think that's way cool. I think, you know, that might be my end goal, is that, you know, one day I get to be an artist that, you know, great artists look up to, you know, just because then I know that, you know, I did well enough to earn the respect of the best, instead of just a bunch of random people. You know, like when a little kid plays the violin, you know, especially when it's his parents listening, her parents listening, you know, after a year or two, they're pretty darn good, you know, as far as I'm concerned, because I don't play the violin. I think like, well, that sounds great, you know, compared to what I can do, you know, and yeah, it does sound great compared to what I could do, but I don't play the violin, you know. Master violinists would, you know, probably plug their ears. You know, it's all in perspective. You just learn to see and hear, in that case, things differently. Anyway, I'll let you go. I can't think of anything else to draw, so I got nothing. And I'm gonna probably say the same things over and over and over again, so I'll let you go. Thank you for watching this video. If you did, you're one of the 2 or 3 people that'll probably ever watch the whole video, and that's probably me and me again and one other person. So thank you.